tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah! What is it?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Yeah.
Rocket. I'm taking a rocket.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here, AfterBuzz TV, AfterBuzz SNL's after show, season 41, episode 3, with the triumphant return of Tracy Morgan. What a great episode. Be sure to like us on YouTube, follow us on iTunes, subscribe to us, go on live chat right now. We could talk to you. I'm your host, Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo, and my co-host...
My name is Amy Maestri. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri.
Kim and Katie are just traveling right now, so we'll see them next time. I think.
Jet setters just leaving us behind.
Yeah, but let's get into this episode. Overall thoughts. What did you think?
Oh my God, it is so good to see that man back.
Oh, me too. Gosh.
Oh. From the very beginning, I was just like, everything is okay. We're in good hands.
Yes.
From beginning to end, I loved every moment of it.
It was everything I hoped it would be. It was everything. For some background, if you guys don't know who Tracy Morgan is, get out of that rock that you've been living under. No, I'm just kidding. He was a cast member from 1996 to 2003. He hosted in 2009. March 14th, 2009, and he came back for a Christmas episode that was, I think, it won the Emmy when Jimmy Fallon hosted. He did the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah.
I used to love that.
Yeah, it's great. So now this is his second hosting gig. We were nervous. We were like, he was in a car accident last year. A big truck hit his limo, I think, right, and killed the driver.
Yeah. One of his comedy mentors.
Yeah.
Actually, too. Yeah, there's a few different people there, and yeah,
So
he was in a coma, and now he's
struggled a bit. We were very, like, I saw that morning show interview of him that he had about it. It was cried a little bit, but hey, no tears were shed for this episode except tears of joy. Oh gosh, you're eating dinner. Cool, thanks, Ghost.
nice. What are you eating?
Yeah, tell us.
Let us know.
Keep us posted. While we talk about the cold opening, the Democratic presidential debate. I didn't watch the presidential debate. Did you?
I was able to watch like the first half of it. So I was able to get a pretty good idea of it, and they nailed this.
Really?
I think.
Great.
I think they crushed it on this. Immediately, just having their intros of the three that like everyone is like, who the hell are you?
Yeah,
no one cares.
So
the
funny.
way that they tackled that was great. Having Alec Baldwin come in to do Webb was great, and his entrance of just immediately being like, I'm not getting enough time, and like that whole bit I thought was great throughout it too.
I loved Larry David too, because he was a writer for one season and he quit. I don't know if he came back for anything else after, but gosh, he was just himself, kind of. Is that kind of weird that Bernie Sanders and Larry David are very similar? Do we want Larry David to be president?
I know. I hadn't thought about that. And then all of a sudden in this episode, I was just sitting there watching it and I was like, oh my God, they're the same person.
Yeah.
They're actually the same person. So who better to play Bernie Sanders than his doppelganger, essentially, Larry David.
So, and I loved all of Hillary's lines, like, let me pop an ice cube in that hot cup of soup. You're asking for a golden goose. I could give you a chicken. Like, so funny. Kate is great, you know?
The way that she takes on Hillary is so smart and so funny. I think a lot of people have tried Hillary impressions, and she's not the easiest, I feel like, to impersonate. Like, there's certain things about her that work for it, but I think Kate taking on this like crazy persona of just like this insane like monster who just wants to like run everything, and like the crazy behind Kate's eyes that's always there too is just it's great for it.
This is like the typical cold opening that I love because I want to get into politics more, but I usually just learn all my politics from SNL. And during political season, this is just like the cold openings are always politics. So I was very happy that they started with the big one. Did you?
Yeah, I think the stuff with Bernie Sanders too was just so perfectly on point, just between like him trying to kind of stay on topic, but also the fact that like Bernie Sanders is the guy who yells at kids to get out of his yard. Like he is that man.
Yeah.
And so kind of putting all those things in there of him like complaining about like the podiums, I can't put my elbows on him, like things like that you're just like, what are you talking about? None of this matters. So I think that was a really nice mix that they wrote in for him.
It's great start. And then the monologue, like, can we talk about the beginning, how the first seconds you're like, oh no, and he tricked us. It was like, oh, thank God, how he's like, so thank you. Thank you.
My heart stopped for a minute.
I loved
Tracy.
it. I know. I loved it so much. I loved that it was like just basically for 30 Rock fans, essentially. But I mean, if you're an SNL fan, how are you really not a 30 Rock fan?
That's true.
Because they all came from there.
That's true.
Alec Baldwin hosted like 15 times, so you gotta...
I mean, if you're a human, how are you not a 30 Rock fan? Is my question.
It was like one of my favorite monologues in a while, I think.
Nice.
Just because it wasn't a typical monologue, right? It was just kind of also a sketch. And I loved the whole like smash things at the bottom.
That killed me because they promoted that show so hard, and I know they did the animal practice one too. I think it would have actually been funnier if they just stuck to Smash the whole time, just because it was everywhere on NBC. So, and then Tina recognizing, are they there?
Yeah.
Are Smash people here again? I thought, everything was great in that. Seeing Jane Krakowski and oh my god, Jack McBrayer, everyone there was perfect.
It was funny, but also very sincere and heartfelt.
Yes.
Like you could tell when Tina was saying like we missed you and stuff, she really meant, and she said we really mean this. It was so sweet and just a great start to be like, this episode's, we got you guys.
Yes.
Don't worry. We know this is what you wanted. We're giving it to you.
Yeah, them diving right into just poking fun at his accident and everything. I mean, that's the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah. And then the first official sketch was the Family Feud one. At first, I was like, because I feel like they've done Family Feud before. They've definitely, because Keenan's portrayed Steve Harvey before. But I did like this twist about the ex-spouses battling each other. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a really funny game for a sketch. Like the idea of it, just like with them both being there, I thought was a great setup, and I like that the audience immediately caught on to it too. As soon as you saw the Williams McGill or whatever the hyphenated name was, everyone was like, oh, and everyone really caught on to it really quickly, and they were very receptive to it. But yeah, I think it was a very funny idea. It kind of lost it a little bit at the end for me, but I think it was a great idea. And getting to see Leslie a little bit more subdued in the beginning was nice, because sometimes like I think she's so great with her commitment on everything, but every once in a while too, I'm just like, maybe like we could come down here.
Yeah, show more versatility.
Yeah.
You know, I agree, but I did like when she lashed out, because you could tell like she committed hard to it.
Yeah.
And I liked how this was kind of more of like a story sketch. Like, it had like it had more of a concept, not just like a jokey thing.
Yeah, true.
I was really surprised by Sashir. Actually, like I've never really seen her that much before.
Yeah.
And she, even though she was only a little bit in it, she like, I laughed at what she said, and Steve being like, get off the pole.
It's not even a real strip club. It's just a car wash with a room in the back.
So funny. But yeah, I thought it was I felt like this was definitely more of a memorable Family Feud than the others. I felt like they were kind of jokey. I don't even remember many, but at least this one, it had more of like a conflict type deal.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too they end up using that as a vehicle for impressions too, because they'll do like the celebrity version. Yeah. So I think this is interesting too. Yeah, just doing like a normal people one, us normal people, doing one like that I think was good. So.
Yeah. And even they still added such great jokes, like when Steve Harvey's like, they have a chance to steal, and Leslie's like, he's stolen enough from all of us. Such an easy joke, but still so good.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of this episode is just like silly jokes, but still like you just enjoy. I felt like it was an episode that was very similar to all like the early 2000 episodes, during Tracy's run.
Yeah.
Silly, but kind of smart, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Speaking of something from the early 2000, like during his run, Brian Fellows was next.
Yes.
What we asked for last episode.
We got Tina and Brian Fellows.
Yes, because you asked for 30 Rock stuff too. Yeah.
Perfect.
Called it. Yeah. I like this. How I felt like at the previous Brian Fellows, it's usually just him yelling at the people.
Yeah.
I liked how each person had a different thought in this, how she was thinking about Pete Davidson and the camel was thinking about the monkey.
I love the monkey callback. It's so good.
I love the camel just not listening to stage direction and just like walking in front of the camera.
Perfect. 80's face when they came back to her, she was like, what is this camel doing? Like, she looked a little concerned when they cut back to her.
Yeah. Felt like it was just what everybody wanted to see. It wasn't like the best Brian Fellows sketch, but it wasn't the worst.
No, yeah.
And I loved the how it wasn't that long. It was short, to the point. This is what you guys wanted. Here it is. Done. Here's a joke. Boom, bing, boom.
Definitely got in and out. And I love too that Tracy has always said Brian Fellows, even though it's actually just Brian Fellow.
Yeah.
Like, which always cracked me up that it's Brian Fellows Safari Planet, but he's still always, I'm Brian Fellows. And he's always done that, which is always really funny because
I didn't realize that until today when I was like looking and I was like, wait a second, it is just Brian Fellow. Because I guess I never read the title before. I don't know.
Tracy.
Just trusted Tracy Morgan, which I guess was a mistake.
Blindly trusting Tracy Morgan. That's always going to be smart.
I did like the new joke, though, of how 80 just kept talking. And he's like,
Yeah, he just kept trying to cut in.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's the little things with Tracy. I think he's just so strong and just so gifted with it that, like, he can just say things like, that's crazy. And it makes you crack up.
Just his voice.
Exactly.
He commits to it, and he's just so silly, and you just want to hug him. Just love him so much.
Give him a big hug.
Yeah. The next one was a fake commercial. I think this was like probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite, aside from like Brian Fellows' and Astronaut Jones. But just because I thought it reminded me so much of like the Oops, I Crap My Pants and like Mom Jean's silly commercials, the fake cocaine. Like to cover up bowel movements because cocaine's so okay. Oh, you have cocaine? Oh, let me have,
It's so much better than
taking a dump.
That. Yeah. Just be like, no, I just have a severe drug problem. It's okay.
And then the fake poop spray to be like, oh no, I didn't want to tell you guys I had cocaine. So here's the spray.
I love that. I kind of almost wish that they had taken it a step further for, like, the next layer of, like, what do you do if, like the next thing where, like, because he's got his bases covered with the spray, with the smell, but, like, what's the next step? That's kind of where I thought it was going for a minute.
Me too,
to escalate there, but I loved it, and I loved their cheesiness kind of, like, going off of it, too. Like, I didn't know you did cocaine.
Yeah, how like, it was very commercially, So even good. The voices, I felt like even their voices sounded very like how commercials sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I thought like Leslie was gonna beat him up or something because the way she's like, "Who's shatting my?"
Oh man, seeing Leslie beat up back would have been pretty great.
Or him look more nervous because I felt he looked a little bit nervous holding them, but I just wanted him to be like, "Oh no."
Yeah, and we haven't seen a lot of Beck yet this season, so it was good to see him in it. I mean, this episode was still very light on him, but it was good to see him in there.
I feel like we never see a lot of him, but it's weird because Radinsky, John Radinsky.
John, yeah.
He was in this a lot too. I don't know how it I think it's just right. Maybe he's more of a writer because the Good Neighbor stuff that he does with Kyle and the writer. There's 3 of them.
Which did he come on to SNL too, or as a writer, or because I know the third was working at Comedy Central.
I think he might be a writer. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we'll have to find out.
I know that
it could be.
I think Beck, Kyle, and Pete Davidson share a room together, share an office because Pete Instagrammed that this week.
Okay.
So maybe they don't. Maybe they don't have that writer. If you guys know, Danny, our old host, was all about the Good Neighbor stuff.
Okay.
I'm more of a Lonely Island girl.
Oh, all right.
You know.
Controversy.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I think Kyle and Beck almost switched a little bit too, because I feel like right in the beginning, Beck was in a lot of stuff, and Kyle was kind of only doing a lot of the taped stuff, and there's been a ton of Kyle this season so far, which has been great.
Yeah, he's lots of weird characters that you wouldn't expect him to fit into, but you're like, oh, okay, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I got it. And then next was Demi. Let's just talk both performances.
Let's do it.
The first one, I don't really have a huge opinion of Demi Lovato. What do you think about her?
That's I feel like most people, she's one of those people that like everyone's talking about right now too, and like everyone I feel like has a very strong opinion on her. I'm kind of the same though.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really like her voice.
Yeah.
I love her tattoos.
I like those birds, man.
Yeah, I know,
those
the
are
birds.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. I'm not in love with her. I think the ratings were very good this week, and I can imagine, obviously because Tracy coming back, but also like that, I mean, she's everywhere right now. I know she has an album coming out, and like people are talking about like the magazine cover that she did with no makeup and no like airbrushing or any of that kind of stuff. So I feel like it was a good time for her to come on for sure. But I thought it was the first performance I liked.
I liked the first performances. First performance more because it was great energy, and I loved that she didn't do the whole song, the Cool for the Summer song, because that's like overdone.
Yeah.
And also it's October, it's but I like that she did sing a little bit of it just for the fans.
Yeah.
And it went into another song. I like the energy of that one. I understand that she had singing a slow song the next one, because just to even it out. But yeah, it was great energy. Good for her. I'm happy for her. She's got a great voice. She's been through a lot, I've heard.
Yeah. And she's a good performer. I mean, she's kind of a badass up there. I like it. I mean, she definitely owns the stage when she's up there. So I think performance-wise, she's a really strong performer too. Yeah,
she doesn't even need to dance really. She just kills it like that.
Yeah, she just kind of does like little movements where it's not even a dance move and you're like, are you dancing? What are you doing? I'm hypnotized kind of, but yeah, I like it.
It's pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And then Weekend Update. It's pretty good. I thought it was, again, like similar to last episode, how it wasn't big jokes, but what they said were like, that's really true.
Yeah.
Like, I love the presidency stuff about Donald Trump and the other guy, how they're like, hey, they have no experience in politics. This is not America's Got Talent. It was very clever. It's so true. It's like, it's great to tell America that, because maybe they're just getting too into the reality shows or something, and that's why.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree that it's been a lot more commentary, I feel like, than jokes, which I like, but I also, there's something about the quick back and forth with the jokes that I always really like. And when you have two people like that, it's great to see that they are getting better with chemistry, because I didn't think they had great chemistry last year.
Yeah.
I also was just like angry that Cecily wasn't there anymore too, so I was just like, I'm gonna be stubborn about it. But
I was the opposite.
Okay.
I loved the idea of an African American and a white guy, because there's so much racial news. Yeah. Especially with our president and stuff. And I thought they worked well together. I liked Michael Che more, but now they're getting a lot, like, warmer.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, the way that they're playing with each other now and, like, working off each other, I like. I would just like to see more jokes, though, is my thing.
I feel
because like
you.
the commentary is funny and the banter is good. They're like we were saying, the chemistry is getting better with that banter. But there's something about Update when it just is kind of like rapid fire and you just get those back to back jokes. Like I like those segments where you get those moments. So couple more jokes in there. It'd be nice.
Yeah. If it was one big commentary thing and then just back to the original jokey stuff, I'd love that because it shows that they're a little bit different, but also keeping with tradition, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like you don't need that many guests, you know, a lot of times. Like, we had two. We had Tina Fey and Willie, Michael's neighbor, with a cameo from Woodrow. Which was great because I was like, this Willie thing is... Do you know that let's talk about him before Tina because I felt like he was not as good as Tina. What do you think?
I have some issues with Kenan Thompson.
Yeah.
It's if you listen to Willie's voice and then his Steve Harvey impression, I think they're kind of the same person.
Except one has fake teeth that kind of mess it up.
Gives a little lisp. Yeah. But, I was just kind of lost interest during it. I think that character idea is a funny idea, but not something I need to see over and over again.
Yeah. Did you know that he's been on like at least 5 times already on Weekend Update? Willie. I just looked him up because I was like, has this guy been on before? And yeah, it was like on Graduating, on some Christmas or something. And I was like, I don't remember any of these things.
Very memorable character.
So forgettable, this character. Why do they keep bringing him back? Because Kenan, like, I feel the same way. Like, Kenan's very meh. Like, he's not my favorite. Probably lower, like, one of my least favorites. But he does have some, he could do some characters if he wanted to. I mean, all that. He was great on all that. Let's not...
Bring back the French guy in the bathtub.
Yeah, please. Pierre Escargot. Yes. Everyday French with Pierre Escargot. God, what a great... That was such a great show.
I would rather see that than Willie.
Yeah,
I mean, unless we get Woodrow again, because Woodrow, that was the thing. Woodrow saved it at the end.
Yes.
Getting to see him do his old character again.
On my phone, and then all of a sudden, what? Woodrow? It was so funny because I felt like this was also kind of like this episode was like also an homage kind of to the episode that Britney hosted. Very like, because Woodrow had a great sketch with Britney Spears, and they sung that Pick a Doo Doo Pie song too. It was great.
Yeah, and the Astronaut Jones later, like there was it was like the Britney Spears episode again, which is great. But
I thought Willie's just, I feel like he's trying to be shock humor, but it's not that shocking because it's just Kenan talking about silly stuff.
Agreed.
But Tina Fey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything Tina doing silly stuff with her body, I'm gonna laugh, you know?
And the descriptions too of like, I was just gonna wear a half Eagles jersey and tube socks, and then this one was gonna be on a bale of hay.
Yeah. Well, she's from Philadelphia, so
there you go.
That's why the Eagles thing. But yeah, the bale of hay, so good. She just rocks it now. Like, it's so funny to see how far she's come because when she was on, she just was mainly a Weekend Update person, and now whenever she hosts, she crushes it. Even when she just cameos, crushes it too.
She does, and I remember they even poked fun at it when she was a cast member and she was always doing Update, and then they had her in a sketch come on, and it was like an impression sketch, and she was supposed to be Ashley Banfield, and they're like, "Oh, Tina, we didn't know you were in the sketch," and she's like, oh, I told Lauren I shouldn't do sketches. Yeah. and then she just leaves, so they were even poking fun at it. But yeah, I mean, she's just exploded, and she's absolutely amazing in everything. And her commentary is always on point, which, again, it was in this. I feel like just her commentary on anything political or pop culture or anything going on is just always so pointed and so smart.
Do you think she wrote this?
I have a feeling she did. Mm-hmm. I think her tone was pretty strong in it. If she didn't, I think she still had some influence on it, would be my bet. I don't know. What were your thoughts? I
don't know. I'm not sure if she wrote the Bitches the New Black one. Remember when she came on and did that?
Yeah.
I don't know if she writes it or they just know her style and they know that she's like a female icon. She's great at doing these things. But either way, it still works.
Yeah.
It was about how Playboy, no nude photos, and she's bummed that she can't live her dream. So she did all these poses about being nude. It's great. I loved the don't need an old man. We can sell our own stuff now.
We can sell our own boobs now. Yeah. So yeah, I love the term sex monster also. 100-year-old sex monster just made me giggle. Great term, sex monster.
And then later, after that, it was the Loveliest Kingdom sketch. What were your thoughts?
About this? Yeah, my thoughts were that exact sound. Yeah. summed up into a sound. It was that. Mm-hmm. I think it's funny. It's one of those sketches that you're just like, okay, I know what this is gonna. Like it's very just. It's kind of predictable, and you know what's gonna happen. Again, I think Tracy. Tracy, just makes it funny with whatever he's saying.
Just have Tracy say titties all the time, and I'll die laughing each time.
I actually...
Taking a whiz, just any dirty humor, I'm sold.
I actually wrote down, I missed hearing Tracy say titties. That was one of the things that I wrote for this one.
Yeah, I thought the second half of this episode was a lot weaker until the end. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't like the twist. I didn't like how he was having sex with this 18-year-old. It was weird.
It got a little weird. And I was just kind of confused on where it was going at that point too, because it was like a predictable sketch until you're just like, oh, now it's not predictable, but I don't get why they're doing any of this.
I would have much rather had Tracy Morgan just sing the sonnet about titties. Just end it with that,
I want to hear that. Yeah. Tracy, get on that. Put that on YouTube.
The next one was another digital short, The Standoff. I liked this one too.
Yeah.
It was just back to basics, kind of, like just let's dance. Let's just make that literal, guys.
Yeah.
So simple, but still very funny. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think anytime people do that game of just dancing, like dance fighting or fighting into dancing, anything like that always really makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and the ballet shoes killed me.
I wonder if he was really wearing them, though, because every time we cut to the ballet, it was just like a close-up of the shoes.
Yeah, it looked really weird, so I don't think... Tracy was probably like, yeah, I'm not wearing those.
I would have loved to just see him full body with just the ballet shoes.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
I think he was really strong in it. Taryn was funny. Mm-hmm. I think just, trying to be all protective and tough, and then at the end, yes, word.
It was so good. What, do you think I'm a homie just because a thug because I'm baggy shirts?
I liked I
just want to dance.
Just the weirdness of it. A sketch like that just kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, who thought of this?
Yeah.
How did they think of it? Like, again, it's like a basic idea, but it's just funny and just weird.
Yeah, very absurd and goofy, but still, you just gotta laugh.
Yeah.
Ultimately. The next one was, yo, where Jackie Chan at right now? Another, what?
I immediately laughed as soon as that title came up, because I was just like, what is this?
But then I felt like the title was funnier than the whole sketch, because it kind of just beat it to death.
Yeah.
And if the impressions were stronger, I felt like that would have made it more. Some of them were great, like, Terrence Owen was great, Chris Tucker, Jay Farrow was great, Leslie Jones just being herself. I saw him in 1997 or whatever.
Well, that was my question too. When is this taking place?
I think it's present day, but
how are they talking to Osama bin Laden?
That's why it was.
I was so confused.
Yeah, it just got like it was an absurd world because it wasn't even. He was holding a skateboard. So I think the whole point is just these guys don't know anything because they only knew he was in Rush Hour 1 and 2 and Shanghai Noon, not any of his other movies.
Yeah.
They thought he was 26 years old.
Between 4 and 7 feet tall.
Set up a trap with just nunchucks.
The Jackie Chan trap. Yeah, I think there were little like tidbits that were very funny. And then the rest of it, as a whole sketch, not a huge fan of it, but like I thought there was a lot of really funny little moments throughout it that kind of saved it.
I think so too, but I just wish they because I felt like everybody else was real except Osama, and I felt that just kind of threw it off a little bit more.
Yeah, I was a little confused with it. And anytime there's an excuse to have a Carmen Sandiego reference.
Oh, that was great.
On point.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
God, I missed that show, And Gum, she was great. Sashira was like, again, whoa.
Got the gumshoe.
Yeah. And lastly, Astronaut Jones.
Yes.
What we also were hoping for, because you're like, Brian Fells, there has to be Astronaut Jones too. Mm-hmm. And there was. I loved how it started out, because you're like, wait, is this, they're talking about space, is this gonna be?
Yeah.
And then it got into the intro, which you guys heard earlier, which is great.
We literally were, when we were watching it, just waiting, and she was like, is this Astronaut Jones? And we started writing it down, like she was just like, yeah, it's happening, it's happening.
I just wrote it down before I even knew, just hoping. And hey, my hopes came true. I love this, too, because it was just like the Britney one. Just very short, and just him being like, oh, what? Yeah. Just checking her out. I like Demi's wide eyes, too, even though she was just reading.
Yeah.
She was still great. I was wondering if she's going to be in a sketch, because I know she's like a Disney girl, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure she definitely wanted to get in on something. And, I mean, what better than to do the alien opposite of Astronaut Jones?
Yeah. Take off that spacesuit and let me take that butt out of that spacesuit and let me see it clap. And I love Tracy Morgan so much.
And again, it's just like what he brings to those characters. Like, you know what's going to happen in this sketch. Mm-hmm. The same thing always happens. And it's always funny. Yeah. Every single time, just because the way that he does it, and like waiting to see what the weird line at the end is going to be. Like, what terrible offensive thing he's going to say to them. I was hoping for him to say titties again, but you know what? This was still great.
Yeah. I think he's got this rare quality where sure, there's other people that write better and perform different types of, jokes and stuff, and he just does the basics, but just him being himself, he's just so lovable. Yeah. You can't not love it, He's so silly, and he knows what he is. He even said in the beginning of the monologue, I might not have 100% mental capacity. I never did before. He knows. He's silly.
Great. I might be a couple points higher now.
Yeah. It was epic booty.
Apparently. Oh, epic booty. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the arm butt.
Oh, that arm butt was great.
For Tina. Yeah, the arm butt on update was great.
Yeah. Sorry, we're just reading your live chats now. But yeah, it was so overall, what a great episode. What a great, I don't just keep saying what a great episode, but it was just refreshing. There wasn't really a sketch that I hated. There were the Loveliest Kingdom was like meh. Yeah. But you still every sketch I laughed at least. Yeah. A little bit,
I'd agree.
Yeah. So they can write when they want to,
They can do it.
Do it again. Keep doing it, SNL. Yeah. Overall, yeah, it was great. Do you got let's talk about did you have a star, who was the MVP aside from Tracy Morgan? What do you think the MVP was?
Oh, outside, because he was just so strong. I think Tina Fey's arm butt was the MVP. Yeah. You know what? I think it was maybe not MVP. It was nice seeing Sashir in this, like you were saying. I wouldn't say she was the MVP, but it was nice to see her again. I don't know that one person really stood out for me in this. It was very.
That's what shows, I think, about the difference between a great episode of a great host, Yeah. Because the host killed it in this episode so much that nobody was like, oh, she was great, because Tracy was great and everything. And I feel like a lot of times that's how it should be. The host should take, he should be the star in every sketch, not Kate McKinnon. Even though she's great, love her. But I agree, I was like, wow, so Sashir can act. She can do stuff. There. She's not just like that girl that just wears wigs sometimes just to be part of the sister.
I know. I'd like to see some more of her.
Yeah, I loved the Carmen Sandiego bit. I loved the Family Feud. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah. The next episode is Donald Trump on November 7th. I think that's right before primaries, right?
Yeah, and it's a year to the day for the election. Too, they were saying. So, wow. God, as soon as I thought it was a joke when I first read the news about a week ago when they announced it. And I thought it was a joke at first, but it's apparently not. And he's hosting, and I know there's a petition going around to get him to not host. A lot of people are freaking out about it right now, so it'll be interesting to see how they write for him.
Yeah, but did you know he hosted in 2004?
Yeah, he had hosted before, so it'll be interesting, because I feel like there's so much to poke fun at him right now, but he's not great at poking fun at himself, so yeah, it'll be interesting.
I remember when he hosted and I didn't not mind it. I thought it was decent. I feel like he can be good at. He has to be good at poking fun at himself if he's signing up for this, because this is, come on, you're gonna get stuff thrown at you. Just a real quick, did we see the movie Colin Jost wrote? No, Matt, we haven't. What movie? And PF 1030, yes. I never ask where's Shashir because I always forget about her. Yeah. But
it was great to get to see her.
Yeah, everybody was great in it.
Yeah, and whatever movie Colin Jost wrote,
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, would very much like to see it.
Because I didn't know. Well, I know he's the head writer. But I guess so. I guess we'll see you guys in November. Hope you guys like this episode. Be sure to like us, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to iTunes. Yeah, where can we find you on all that stuff, Amy?
On all that fun internet stuff, you can find me at Amy Maestri.
Yeah. And I'm Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Holly Weirdo at Twitter and Instagram. And we'll see you guys in a few weeks. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.